We're live. We are live. It is the Over Under 95 podcast. Hello, everybody. I'm Joe Murray. Deadlift Shouts is here. We got our shiny background going. We're going live at 5 o'clock today. So,
live at 5.
You know what's cool is maybe if you're like leaving the office right now, if you do work in an office, just pop us on either YouTube. Or you can go like to Periscope or Twitter and listen to us.
Yep.
So you can listen to us on your way home today. Of course, you can comment in. We're gonna save the regular old sports talk and just get right into the gambling stuff. Maybe we should just start with the Bruins and then because there's a lot of basketball going on. But the Bruins series is set, Dan. And it is the Bruins minus 210, while the Islanders are plus 175. To me, Bruins getting a lot of love from Vegas, and I think they should. I know we briefly talked about this morning on Touching the Rich, but again, the Bruins are taking on a team that has maybe some goaltending issues, and I don't know if the Islanders can score with the Bees, so that's going to be the question for me. So off the bat, I'm going to PP. I got the Bruins in 5 plus 375.
So PP, I don't have the bell with me, Joe. That is the one thing, unfortunately. I did not grab with me. Was the bell, but ding that. Look, we can get more into this on Saturday because I do think that this is a series that we're going to want to break down in further detail, right?
I think it's Saturday night might be the game too.
Yeah, Saturday night at 8 o'clock is game one, so we'll definitely get into that. Let me see if I can get the bell here for you. Here you go. I don't know if there you go, but
I like it.
There you go. So there you go. So listen, I think that you and it feels like a large majority of fans here are underestimating the Islanders. I really like Tuukka Rask and what he did in the first round of the playoffs. I thought that he was outside of game one. I didn't think he was great that game, but I thought he was phenomenal in the series. I think he's a big reason why you won in 5. And I think that, as long as he continues to play that way, you're going to be, very competitive the whole time. But the Islanders had Ilya Sorokin, and outside of game 6, where he was a little shaky, to be fair, but outside of that, I thought that he was maybe better than Rask. If not, it was close. The Penguins are a very deep offensive team. Defensively, they allow a lot of goals, and there's a lot of holes there. But Sorokin got peppered. I mean, I think he had something like 43 saves or something stupid in game 6. It's a really, really good goalie that you have there. And, the Islanders were outshot, I think, every single game in that series, if I'm not mistaken. Like that's a team that I didn't want to face. And I do think that they are being undervalued by by not only the Boston media, but just by bettors in general. We saw them open at minus 220 on DraftKings, minus 200 on DraftKings, but moved up minus 220 real quick. I saw a little bit of money come in on the Islanders, minus 210. Now we're seeing a ton of money come in on the Bruins, and that is always scary. They're up to minus 265, some places minus 240, others. So, I mean, we're seeing a pretty big spread. Look, if you ask me, just going off the initial, 210 line, do the Bruins win this series 68% of the time? My answer would be no. I don't think so. I think this is closer to 50-50. Now, I'd favor the Bruins. I would. But, a 58-42 spread, I think that's more reasonable than a 68-32 spread. I don't see that. I don't agree with the price of the series. I think the Islanders are being undervalued. And I think that this is one of those situations where taking some plus money on the Islanders, especially anything over 200. If the Bruins lose game 1, I mean, you're going to be able to get maybe not plus money on the Bruins side, but it's going to be in the minus 140, 150 range, I'd say. Maybe lower, really, honestly, depending on the books outside of Boston. It's a really, really good team. They have a lot of guys who have killed you over the years. Travis Zajac is a guy who has just been incredibly annoying to this team. Obviously, you talk about JP Pajot and his regular season stats against the Bruins were really, really strong. Same with Matt Barzal. I mean, who obviously is going to be a big topic of discussion in the series. Obviously, the Bruins passing him over 3 times in the 2015 NHL draft. So fucking boneheaded decision. I'll never understand. You had Matt Barzal and Kyle Connor there, 2 premier offensive players that everyone knew were going to be good offensive players, and for whatever reason, the Bruins didn't take them. That's a discussion for a different day. But I think the Bruins are going to win the series, but I think you're looking at this. This is going to be a war. This is a 6-7 game series. This is not a 5-game series. This is not the Washington Capitals. This is not, a rinky-dink operation. This is a really, really good team with 2 really good options at goaltender and a very strong defensive core. I'd say Pulak and I'm blanking on the name of his defensive partner right now, but those 2 are the, in my opinion, are the second and third best defensemen in this series. I mean, in my opinion. And I don't know, man. I think that this is going to be a really long series. And I mean, that would be the way that I would bet it. I would look to try and get plus money on both sides if you really want to bet it. Or if you have an over under 5.5 games. I'll tell you right now, I will be taking the over 5.5 games as long as at a reasonable price. I have not seen a line yet, but I mean, I definitely will be. I think this is going to be a really long series. Adam Pelech is the guy I was thinking of. So Pulak and Pelech. And I mean, again, they have some names you guys know about. Andy Green is like their kind of steady veteran defenseman. Noah Dobson's a young kid. He's playing very well. Scott Mayfield, Nick Leddy, obviously, from the Chicago days. So, I mean, listen, this is a team that's really good, and they have a lot of depth and a lot of talent. This is not the Washington Capitals who are aging out. These are a bunch of kids, and they're not scared to play you. They're not. So
yeah, they showed that in the regular season this year. Tuukka struggled. Swayman got a win late in the year. Tuukka's had some rest. I think that's one thing we can get into on Saturday. Rest versus rust. I guess that could be a big topic of discussion. There's a couple of games tonight. Toronto, Montreal. For Toronto's sake, I think they need to take care of business tonight, but I don't like the line at all, man. 234 for them to take care of business. I think they do, but I'm not touching that number.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really, really, really big number. And we talked about before the series, Montreal was up 1-0 in this series. People forget that Montreal and Carey Price were up 1-0. Toronto ripped off 3 straight. And it's listen, Toronto's a really good team. I'm not laying 240 with them tonight. No shot am I laying 240 with them. I'll take Montreal plus 200. I mean, if you're making me choose a side, I lean under. I lean the under 5.5. If you're really making me choose a play, I really like tonight. But the plus 1.5, minus 130, or the plus 200, I think Montreal still has some fight in them. I think Toronto will struggle to close this out. So we'll see.
Okay, yeah, and the total on that's 5.5. I think Montreal has to score a little bit here tonight. And when it comes
to Price, has to play amazing. So
yeah. Montreal struggle. The under is 4-1 the last 5 meetings. I just think there's going to be some goals in that game. I got no play, but I think for Toronto's sake, win this game, right? Because their playoff history is bad. Win this game, just win it, however you can. The other game tonight, Nashville and Carolina. Carolina leads that series 3-2. That series also shifts to Nashville tonight. I don't know if home ice has meant a lot so far. I guess in the Bruins' sake it has, as they went 2-0. Carolina won the last meeting 3-2. They now go back out on the road here. If they win tonight, man, game 7. I would bet on a game 7 in this series. So you know what, Dan? Why don't we have some fun? The home team has won the first 5 games of the first round of the Stanley Cup between Nashville and Carolina. So why don't we continue that trend tonight? And we take Nashville at home as a dog plus 125.
There you go, Trout. There you go. So there's Joe's play. Look, the last 3 games have been overtime games. Carolina started the series, dominated the first 2 games.
They dominated the first 2 games, no doubt.
I mean, Nashville has definitely got back into it, but the last 3 games have been, 50-50 games that have ended on sometimes questionable goal in overtime. And, last night was basically batted the puck out of the air. It was a fun game. It was a fun game if you watch any of it. Look, this is a series I have no interest in getting involved in right now. I don't think that there is, I don't feel like taking, laying a minus 145 or minus 140 on the road with Carolina. I think looking at the total here at home, Nashville has to score, and I think that's the way that they're going to play. I would lean the over just because of the home ice fun, second shift. To me, this is probably an over game. I don't love it. I definitely don't love it. Again, not something I would PP by any means. But yeah, I mean, Joe, I think that this is a game where if Carolina loses this game, man, I think Nashville wins the series. I do. I think Nashville wins in 7. I think Carolina's gonna have to close it out today. I think they will. Again, I know a lot of people were talking about the first period over in this one, and just Nashville in general. Canes -1, whatever. I don't want any action on either of the hockey games tonight. It's just not something I'm interested in. But I do think this is going to be a hell of a game. And really, I think, in my opinion, is a must win for Carolina because I think Nashville can win. I don't think home ice matters that much, and I know it has in the series, but just in general, I don't think I would go with that.
And Friday night, there's a game 7 between Vegas and Minnesota. The game's in Vegas. I mean, this would be a huge upset. I'm going Golden Knights. They're high, minus 155. Totals 5.5. I didn't think this one would go 7. I really didn't. Golden Knights need this game.
Yeah, I mean, they're up 3-1 in the series. I thought they tied the game last night. They got a bullshit goal taken away off of goalie interference. And because they challenged it, Minnesota go a power play, scored on the power play. And that was game was 2-0, and that was it. So, I mean, I thought the Knights got fucked last night. I think the Wild are a really, really good scrappy team. Matt Dumba has developed into a really good defenseman, which is surprising considering where he was just a few years ago in his development. But nonetheless, I think if I'm going to do it, I'm going to take a game 7. Yeah, I mean, you know what? Give me Minnesota plus 155 on the money line. PP. Golden Knights probably win, but it feels like Minnesota has all the momentum. I don't care about home ice, as I said, and Minnesota is playing with just absolute freedom right now, and seemingly don't care. 7-game series. Give me the dog with the momentum at a what I think is a jacked up price at almost 160 plus 155. So give me Minnesota there.
All right. And then, of course, we'll find out what happens with any scheduling for Saturday if there's a potential game 7 between Nashville and the Hurricanes. So there's your hockey look. We're kind of touching on everything today. Before we get to the NBA, Dan, a team came out and supposedly gave up a first-round pick. Diana Rossini mentioned that today.
Yep.
Do you believe that? Do you believe a team gave up a first-round pick for Julio Jones?
I believe that they've offered a first-round pick, and then, of course, Atlanta will probably offer Julio and another pick back. So I think it's slightly misleading. I think they probably want a second or third-round value and then another pick. And Atlanta, maybe they got a first-round pick. They're offering their first, and Atlanta getting, maybe it's Julio and a second, Julio and a third, something along those lines. So I do believe that a first-round pick was offered, but I just don't believe we're getting kind of the full scope of the actual offer there, but we're going to find out real soon. I will tell you, I've heard a little bit of info floating out there that maybe Kansas City is, potentially swooping in and trying to open up cap space for this.
Wow.
This is not like solid info or something I feel confident in betting or anything like that. But
that's a good long shot.
Yeah, and I'll give credit to Arcan. Arcan had, put it out there, I think, like the other night. And then someone kind of, was talking to someone today, and he was like, hey, well, it wasn't exactly like a, hey, I heard this, but he was like, hey, I'm trying to get some money down in this. And I was like, any particular reason? He's like, hey, got some info, might be Kansas City. So I was like, okay, interesting. I don't know, the guy super well. So this is not exactly a real source thing, but Kansas City just isn't listed anywhere, and then the betting market for Julio outside of FanDuel and DraftKings, which by the way is not New Hampshire, you got to be in like these other states, New Jersey, etc. I mean, that's where you can get the money down on this market. But really, outside of that, there's very little money available to be bet on the betting market. Bet Online, I think, is offering $25 or $50 limits there. So I mean, you're not talking about a lot.
I think it's going to be an AFC team for sure. Dan, when we were walking out of the studio today, you mentioned something. I was trying to bring up maybe a potential squabble with Patriots land with the owner and the coach. And the little I watched of any Patriots camp today, Mac Jones looked like the best passer. And I'm just curious, would the Patriots give up an asset with Mac Jones and be like, I don't know, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm the Patriots are the favorites here, -105. Tennessee would be interesting. And then the Ravens, obviously, but they got Hollywood Brown and they just signed Bateman. 49ers all day, right? But they don't have any draft capital because they traded for Lance. And then the Packers, like, they may be waiting for the Aaron what's his name there, Rodgers thing.
So I just want to ask, I want to clarify, are you insinuating that the Patriots may offer Mac Jones on the pick for Julio?
Oh no. I'm wondering.
Right.
I think so here's my thing on the Patriots. They have the salary cap to do it. They just got to cut a couple of guys. They could restructure his deal.
They don't have to do anything. They actually have the salary cap to just take him in right now. So
they cut a couple of guys today. So they can. Yep. And let's just call it a second round pick or a swap or something conditional. Second round, it could be a first, something like that. I just don't think he's a fit. Listen, I think he's a great fit. He can fit anywhere. I think I'd prefer him with Mac than with Cam. But again, I also think that they have plans for Aguilar and what's his name, Bourne. I just think they got plans for those guys.
Yeah, they invested a lot in the position. I don't see them making the trade, but there's a lot of smoke around it. Sometimes when there is smoke, there is fire, and I wouldn't completely discount it. I'm just saying, like,
it's always a fetch in the dark, right? When it comes to the Patriots being linked to all these teams,
I would be in on it. I certainly would. Certainly would be in on it. By the way, to follow up on the Aaron Rodgers thing you're talking about, remember we I kind of threw in a team a couple of weeks ago on this, and it was Cleveland in the Aaron Rodgers race.
I mentioned the Giants. So who do you got now?
So I heard that Cleveland made a monster offer for Aaron Rodgers. Monster.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't have the specific details. I don't know, whatever. I don't know anything other than they've made an offer, and there's and apparently it was a big one for Aaron Rodgers. So take that and do with that as you please. I know that the person who told me is LinkedIn enough for me to place a little bit of a wager on the Browns 18-1 to win the Super Bowl. Not a lot, just a little dabble, but I did dabble on Cleveland to win the Super Bowl 18-1. I think if Rodgers goes there, I think they are not only the Super Bowl favorites, I think they are the strong Super Bowl favorites, in my opinion. I don't think there's anyone in the AFC who's close to them. And then
why not Cleveland to acquire Julio Jones?
Oh, I think you're already investing a lot in that position between Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry. And if you acquire Julio Jones, there's going to be a lack of playing time for one of those guys.
Not to mention the guys that have come up with OBJ being out.
That feels like a problem waiting to happen in that room. I think that Baker would be really upset if they traded him, but I'm just saying, I don't play reporter. I'm just saying what I've heard. It was enough for me to put a little bit of a dabble on Cleveland 18-1. That's all.
All right, let's get into the NBA scoreboard for tonight. 7:30. I've been looking at this one a little bit, Dan. I was on Milwaukee. I'm kind of leaning Milwaukee again tonight. Something's not right with Jimmy Butler. I think he's upset. The way that Milwaukee shot the last game, I don't want to fade that. It's a low line. It's 1.5. I need to know who the refs are. But right now it's 224.5. Total 1.5. I probably lean over in the Bucks.
Okay, look, I think Miami is going to get back into the series. I think it starts tonight. I think that, at this point, I don't have any confidence in them winning the series. But I do think that I do think this will go at least 5 games.
Real quick. Butler and Adebayo have to play better. Like, they can't average 12 points a game in a series.
Yeah.
They have to play better.
And we did hear that there were some issues between Butler and the coaching staff right before the playoffs started, which was obviously notable. So, I mean, that is a concern. I just think that, listen, I really like Milwaukee. I think they're a good team. I don't think they're beating Brooklyn. I don't think they have a fucking prayer.
I actually don't even know if anybody can, but we'll find out, right?
We'll find out. But I do think that Miami is going to beat them tonight. Now, look, there's a lot of people invested in Milwaukee tonight. The Bucks badly need Miami, badly. I think you're getting something like 73% of the bet on the spread for Milwaukee and 70% of the money line. I'll see if I can find our guy John Ewing and what his percentages are, because I know he had something on it earlier today. There's a lot of money coming in on Milwaukee. Yes, 76% of the ticket and 68% of the handle on Milwaukee on the spread. So, I mean, that's quite a lot of money coming in on Milwaukee. The line movement, they did open as a dog too. Remember, they opened +1. Now they're favorites. The line movement would tell you that obviously, there's probably a little bit of combo of respected money and public money pushing that number. I still think that getting Miami at +1.5 at home in a game 3, this is a must-win game for them. I mean, Milwaukee does not have to win this game. This is a must-win game for Miami. They go down 3-0, series is over. So I think, to me, this is a must-win game for Miami. They'll show up tonight. If I'm taking Milwaukee to upset in Miami, it's game 4. It's not tonight, because I think that people say game 3 is the most important game of a series, or game 3, game 5, and game 7, the most important games of the series, right? I think that Miami wins game 3. I think Milwaukee wins game 5. And I think that's basically how you have to look at that series and where it's going to come down. I do think Milwaukee will find a way to win 1 in Miami, which is kind of scary to me. I think this is probably going to end up going 5. I think it's going to be 4-1. I just think Miami's going to win tonight. This is a must-win game for them. Backs against the wall. They are talented enough to play with Milwaukee. If Adebayo and Jimmy Butler don't play even just reasonably well, I think this is going to be a win for Miami. Huge game for them tonight. Massive. In terms of the total, I lean over, but I don't love it. It's gonna be a pass for me.
All right. And Milwaukee's huge favorites to still win that series. They won.
Yep. Yeah, we can. I'll talk about the series, but basically, they're minus 1,100 now to win that series. Miami is plus 700. I've gotten a few questions saying, "Hey, is there any value in Miami?" I would tell you at this point, I don't think that you can bet them. I don't. I mean, again, I was a big proponent of Miami. I liked Miami before the series. I thought they were going to win the series. I don't think that you can bet Miami at this point. Milwaukee minus 1,100 is there for a reason. I wouldn't invest in Milwaukee minus 1,100 either. I would wait until after tonight, but I think the series is over. I think Miami won the game, but I think just in general the series is over. I don't think there's any value on Miami plus 700. I think you're just hoping for a comeback.
All right, could we have a wrangle tonight? Suns at Lakers. Scott Foster, the head official tonight. All right. So this is just gambling over the years without looking into it. Scott Foster and Chris Paul, I don't believe, have a good relationship.
You would be very correct on that. I have a stat on it if you want it.
Yes.
Yeah, Chris Paul teams in their last 10 playoff games when Scott Foster is the ref, per NBA ref stats, 0-10. And actually, I went back on that. They are actually 0-13.
Shit.
Yeah, so last 13 games, they are 0-13, and they are 1-15 in the last 16. So, again, I don't know. Again, taking those games going a while back, I think it's hard to put a total. Again, I think that there has to be a understanding of value of the cutoff of when this happened. And there was the whole Foster Paul thing a couple of years ago. And since that altercation, Joe, since that issue, Chris Paul and his teams are 0-10 under Scott Foster when he refs a playoff game. So, listen, this is another one from John Ewing. 65% of the bets. And let me make sure I get this correct, actually, because I thought that's 67% of the bet, 60% of the handle coming in on the Phoenix Suns tonight at +7.
Ooh. In LA?
In LA, and it's by the way down to 6.5. Yep. I mean, listen, people saw the first two games of that series.
So listen, that game probably should have stayed under, right? There was some bullshit free throws down the end.
Yep.
The under was the right side, and I know it went over, and people might think, "Oh, you're a loser." No, there was just too many fouls at the end. The Suns are 2-5 against the spread. Their last 7 against the Lakers. I'd go back to the under again tonight, to be honest with you. And did you notice that Phoenix, without Chris Paul on the court, they could not really get anything? It took 2 Devin Booker fouls behind the 3-point line. That was 6 points. It took 2 of those shots for them to break a 3-minute scoreless drought. The fadeaway from LeBron was lethal. And then Anthony Davis took over. Finally woke up. I think an intruder is playing very well. I don't know if the Suns bounce back, and I'm going to tell you, I wouldn't be surprised if Chris Paul's done for the rest of the series.
I mean, I think we're going to see him tonight. I think he's going to try and give it a go. He does not look good, man. He looks like he's playing with one arm, and he's just not effective. Now, Campaign came in, and he was super freaking effective for the Suns last game. He really was. He was the reason that they got back into that. I mean, that 15-point game near the end of the third quarter. They got back into that, Joe. And that was a game. I mean, it was tie game. They were going back and forth. Suns had the lead. They were going back and forth. And in the final 4 or 5 minutes, what happened?
Score.
LeBron
they could not score.
LeBron James, Anthony Davis, that old Lakers defense clamps. And Anthony Davis and LeBron James came through when it mattered. And I think that was one of the things. Now, we saw how they're going to guard Phoenix, right? What they are going to guard the perimeter and let Phoenix drive. That's what they're going to do. They're going to say, we're not going to let you shoot. We're going to make you we're going to make you score in the paints. And Ayton has been very successful. The first
it might be to plan though, Dan.
Oh yeah. I mean, I first game 1 was not, but game 2, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I couldn't believe the defense Caldwell Pope was playing on Booker. Even LeBron was in on him. Hey, Keith, stay with stay. I was really impressed with the Lakers, right? It's hard to be impressed with the Lakers. It's just they flick a switch. They're one of the only teams that can do it. And that's why they're going to be tough to beat.
And when we talked about it, we had you and I both had Suns game 1. I PP'd it. You wrote it. We were on the Suns game 1. LeBron James 3-7 now in his last 10 game 1s. I mean, he calls it a feel out game. Honestly, my personal opinion is that he fucking bets a shitload of money on the other team to win the game 1.
Or tells his friends.
Just that has been out there too, by the way. That he puts a lot of money on. Yeah, so I mean, there's something going on there. But
let's talk about a path for a minute here.
Okay.
The Lakers' odds is worth a discussion in itself. That after winning one game, they're like over 300 favorites.
Yeah. So I mean they're 360 now. I'm seeing at some books, Joe. I mean the price is getting. Again, I would never tell you to bet on the Suns. I think the Suns are going to lose the series in 5 or 6. I think this is going to end rather, unspectacularly, but this is but the line for the Lakers right now, in my opinion, is getting too inflated. Like I would tell you right now, I wouldn't lay a single dollar on the Lakers series price at -360. That's too high.
Well, let's look at a path real quick. Let's just say they win the first round.
Yep.
Let's just say LeBron wins the first round.
Okay.
Where do the Lakers go next?
So they'll play the winner of Portland and Denver.
Done.
I think it's going to be Portland.
Okay, done. They'll beat them.
Yeah, I agree there too. Everyone, it's going to be the same fucking thing. I'm already hearing people talking about how Portland's going to beat them. Like I was in the RAS chat today, and people are like, "Oh, Portland's sneaky. They're going to beat." Are we doing this again? Are we doing it? Did you guys watch the series last year? The Lakers roster got better. I know Portland got better too. Like they have McCollum back, and that's really important. And they acquired what's his face there from Toronto. Listen, they're good. Stop it. They're not. They can't guard fucking Drummond and Davis. No, we're not doing this again, are we? I mean, listen, if the books want to give me a great price on the Lakers, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do the same thing we did this series. We'll take Portland game 1, and we'll fucking lay, a shitload on the Lakers series price and call it a day. I mean, that's what's going to happen. It's just,
Give me the under 212 PP tonight.
Okay. Well, guess what? So I did my video for Better Than Not Vegas. And what was one of my PPs tonight? The under 211.5. So there you go. Yep. So so
212 or 211. Let's get it.
There you go. A little double PP from us tonight. I also PP the Lakers -7. It's back down to 6.5. What are you gonna do?
I'm just gonna stay away from that one because I just feel like if the Lakers are gonna win this game, they're gonna play half court basketball. They're gonna control it.
Yeah,
I think if Chris Paul's not right, Booker's gonna get double teamed.
Yep, and it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot of campaign again. Listen, Campaign's a nice player, Joe, but I can't expect 19-7 from Campaign with solid defense every night. It's just not.
Isn't it sad that the league, Phoenix is a nice team, right? They drafted well. Good, they got the Chris Paul acquisition was great for them regular season. It's just when it comes to the playoffs, you don't have it. You have two good all-stars. Like I don't want to compare it to the Celtics, but the Celtics have 2 all-stars, and Ayton was the number 1 pick.
I mean, I think Ayton is really emerging this series, Joe. He looks like way better defensively than I ever could have imagined.
But what I mean, though, is
well.
These teams have 2 all-stars and a number 1 pick, and they still can't get over the hump.
I'd argue 3 all-stars. I'd argue 3 all-stars. They have 3 all-stars.
It's just the league the league. It's just, I know it's just another question for another day, but
Yep.
this offseason, some teams really need to look at it and say, do we want to go for a long haul, or like when you're at the poker table, man, and you're like, I'm all in, or like you got your all your part, you got all your bets in on one game, and if it goes bad, everything else goes bad.
Yep.
That's it's like that with the Nets and the Lakers right now in the NBA. You know what I mean? Like until one of the LeBron and AD are together for a while here, so I don't know. I just look around. Like I look at Denver, right? Nice team. Jamal Murray gets hurt, they get the MVP of the league. They trade for Aaron Gordon. Like they're this team that's on the come, and like they might not even beat a Portland team that's what Damian Lillard when he gets hot, and they'll get smoked by the Lakers next round. It's just I'm not saying it's not entertaining. It's just that it's predictable. And that's why we need to cash in on it, But
I mean, yeah, it does. This does the NBA does kind of have a WWE feel to it. It does. I mean, it's not. There is some rigging, so I think that's kind of comparable. It's not the same. Like it's just not. But at the same time, like I think we know what's going to happen. Like, would you be surprised if the Lakers came out and just literally fucking wrecked the Phoenix Suns tonight? I wouldn't. Without Chris Paul on the road, some of those role players probably not going to play as well. A little bit different, not in your building. The LA fans are going to be that building is going to be, is going to be pretty loud, even with the short amount of fans. It just feels like a potential scheduled loss for the Suns. That's all. The spread to me says it all too. 6.5. That's a big spread. Everyone's jumping on Phoenix to cover. Does Scott Foster's the fucking. It feels like a natural disaster coming from Phoenix tonight.
It's like the special guest referee is Scott Foster. Like WWE,
seriously, seriously,
like Mike Tyson being the special guest referee.
So I mean, I would expect Game 4 to be closer. I think there's a chance that we see the Lakers in the blowout tonight. Again, I also like the under. I just think, man, if they double Devin Booker and Phoenix has to play almost a perfect game without Chris Paul. I mean, DeAndre Ayton has to play a perfect defensive game, which he did for part of the game last game against Anthony Davis. He struggled at times, but again, they didn't cover it. He wasn't on Davis the whole game, and offensively he has to be perfect, and you need to get a ridiculous contribution from Campaign, and Devin Booker has to be good, and like there's so many factors that just go into Phoenix winning these games. It feels like it's they lose one at home and they lose home court, and it's like it feels somewhat insurmountable if they lose tonight. That's my opinion. That's all. That's my opinion. If you're really interested and you think Phoenix is going to win the series, by all means, I would wait till after tonight to play the series price, because I think tonight is an L. That's my opinion. So,
all right, we got the. So I don't know where to go with this one. Nuggets Blazers, like it's tied 1-1. The series moves to Portland. I see the 227. I lean over, but I have this thing about teams that score 130 points and not scoring well the next game, So I like that, and then Portland at home, they've struggled against the Nuggets this year. In general, I think the trend that I saw was, actually Denver is 1-5 against the spread the last 6 meetings versus Portland.
Yeah, I mean, the 3.5 is there for a reason. 227 number. I had the over last game. I want nothing to do with the total tonight. This want nothing to do with it. This feels like a Portland victory, but at the same time, this is the series, Joe. The one series I think out of every single series I will not get involved with really much, maybe except the total. But a side is going to be very hard to be predictable in the series. I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot of people who are pouring their money in on Portland tonight. I'll see if I can get the betting stats over at BetMGM for you. But I think there's going to be a lot of money pouring in on Portland tonight. 55% of the tickets, 67% of the handle on Portland.
Well, let me ask you this. All right, so it's 3.5 tonight. Is it worth betting the Blazers to win the series at -160 or Denver plus 135 in this case? Maybe take that now instead of betting a game tonight?
No, I mean, theoretically, yes. But if Portland wins, you're better off waiting for the game 3. Game 1 home game usually goes to the home team. Usually, not always, usually. Um, so you're better off waiting if you want to take Denver, in my opinion, especially first game on the road. I think this series is probably 2-2 or 3-1 heading back to Denver. So I would avoid taking the Nuggets tonight if you're doing it. If you want to take a serious price on the Blazers, I get it. This series is such a toss up, dude. I can't see it. I have no interest in getting involved in the series by any means, and I think the matchups are really good. And I think if Jamal Murray's in the series, pretty crazy. So I think if Jamal Murray's in the series, we're talking about something different. But I think the Nuggets just don't have the guard depth and the guard play right now to touch the Nuggets. So.
Knicks Atlanta. I know the Knicks won last night. I still like Atlanta to win the series.
Yep.
Interesting. The Trae Young stuff. He'll be motivated. -4. Ooh, high line. 211. The total. This is a 7:00 Friday night game. I just wanted to give you a couple of just trends. So the last 7 meetings between the two teams, the over's 5-2. I actually see. You mentioned the line is what it is for a reason. I think Atlanta covers the 4.
I do too. I think Atlanta is the better team of these two series, but of these two teams, I thought the Knicks had a really, really good defensive comeback last night. And if they want to win this series, they're just going to have to clamp every second half. I mean, really, clamp down and lock down. And it's going to be really, really hard for them to win the series because they just don't have any secondary scoring unless Derrick Rose goes off for 25. That's who you're putting your faith in. And look, Derrick Rose is, still a decent player in the NBA and has nights where you can play. And we saw that. I just think you're asking a lot from him, as more of a rotational piece instead of a starter. And I look at the total again and say, hey, this is an under game. I don't think I'm going to get involved in this one tomorrow. I don't think I am, but man, this one is tough, dude. This one is really, really tough for me. In terms of the total, I think Atlanta covers the 4 as well. I do. I think that is right. I think they're the better team. I think this is going 6 or 7. Now, I thought Atlanta might win at 5 or 6, but I think this is going to end up going 6 or 7, and I think it's a toss-up, dude. I really do. I think this is a complete toss-up of a series.
So I took the Hawks at the beginning of the series. I liked it tomorrow night, but I'm going to double down on -135 Hawks to win the series.
You PP in that?
I get, yeah. I already PP'd it, but I'm going to double PP.
Oh yeah.
So
there you go. There's
I like the Hawks to win this series. The Knicks impressed me last night. Whatever.
Yep.
But I think there's a little motivation factor happening here. All right. So Nets Celtics. The line is 1,900 to win the series. So don't waste your money. Give it to me or Dan. We'll put it in a little fund.
Go in my pocket.
So I'm gonna just be honest with you, Dan. I don't care what the Celtics do. Nothing will impress me. Jason Tatum could have 100 points. I don't care. Or Robert Williams could have 20 blocks. I don't care. Will Brooklyn cover the spread is all I care about. And the 227.5. And the unders 4-1 in the last 5 meetings. So I think this game goes under going to Boston. We already know about the bullshit that's going to happen with Kyrie.
Yep.
Marcus Smart backed those comments today. I just read
Danny Ainge went against those comments.
Yeah, went against it.
Very. And by the way, Blake Griffin also went against those.
Yeah, went against it too. That's just
it's a weird dynamic going on. I don't want to get too much into it.
Yeah, it's just what it is we we're not NBA players. We're not black guys. We just it's hard for us to comment on it. My only weird angle is that you mentioned Blake Griffin going against his teammate, and then Marcus Smart going against the guy he's going up against. It's just weird. It's just weird. But anyways, when it comes down to it, like, I don't care what the Celtics do. I'm thinking about Brooklyn in 4. And I wish I had that in front of me right now.
You want the line right now?
Yeah, oh man, I wish I grabbed it earlier.
I remember I told you it was plus 280 to open these series. Let me see what I can find in Brooklyn and 4 for you here. Here's the thing, Joe. Charles Barkley, I don't know if you guys were watching the other night. Charles Barkley on the show, he basically PP'd 3 things. Okay, he PP'd 3 things. He PP'd the Suns to win Game 2, they lost. He PP'd the Clippers to win Game 2, they lost, and he PP'd the Nets to sweep the Celtics. By the way, the Nets to sweep the Celtics right now is minus 140.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see 140 at DraftKings.
Okay, yeah.
So should we jump on? Should we jump on the 180 then?
Well, I mean so let's see. The other result is plus 130. Let me see if I can get the exact.
While you're doing that, it should be noted that as much as I thought Jason Tatum would probably not play the rest of the series, he's going to play tomorrow night and he's fine. But about a half hour before our podcast, Kemba Walker dealing with knee issue.
Yeah, he's questionable. So,
listen, I think the Celtics are going to win a game here. I don't think it's going to be win game. I don't think they're going to win Game 3. I think Game 3 in Boston, I don't think they're going to win. I think they win Game 4. I do.
I think the team's going to rally around Kyrie tomorrow. I really do.
I do too. I think that is a motivational factor for Brooklyn. I think that Kyrie's taking a lot of heat. I think Durant and Harden, I think those guys are going to want to back them. But a full house in Boston on Sunday, facing elimination, I would not be surprised if those guys shut it down. The Celtics win 1.
Just saying, that's all I'm saying. I'm just saying I wouldn't be shocked. I told you.
Well, there's more value in that with the plus at 180 than betting minus 150 or whatever. So
I told you my favorite play in the entire NBA playoffs, more than the Lakers to win the series over the Suns, which I loved,
was Celtics Nets under 5.5 games. And I think that is,
we saw what happened. I think the Nets will win tomorrow night. I do. I think that I'm not going to touch the spread. 7 and 8 opened at 6, is at 7.5. There's money pouring in on Brooklyn. I mean, money pouring on the Nets. I would not be surprised if the Celtics cover, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Celtics win a game on Sunday in front of a packed house, full crowd. Wouldn't shock me. Team is just not good enough. They're not good enough. I saw a bunch of Celtics guys talking about the Celtics have the talent to do it. No, they don't. No, they fucking don't. They don't have the fucking talent. Stop it. Just the Celtics media to me is the worst media coverage in the entire city.
Well, now you know what it is now.
It is not close. It is the worst coverage in the entire city. It's not close.
We were talking about this morning, but I do think that the media has flipped maybe the last 2 weeks to the negative.
I do not.
But
I do not agree with that.
No. What I mean though is like, I definitely think like Perk, Max, who else? Like the Forsbergs, the Corrales. Like these guys are now like, oh wow, like this team sucks. Where Scal, Grandy, Greeny. Everybody on Twitter still thinks there's talent. Listen,
it's not just that. It's the and I'm not going to name names because I'm not getting into that, but it's the other Celtics guys too. Do not let it fool you. The other Celtics media guys are still talking about, oh, this team got had COVID and yada 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 excuses. No, they're not good enough. That's the reality of the situation. Yeah. The reality of the situation is the media makes excuses for this team unlike any other team in this town. That's the reality of the situation.
Absolutely this town.
Yep.
Absolutely.
The Celtics are protected in this town. I don't know why. I don't know why it is, but fans will buy anything that they fucking say and will just preach it. There are a few guys who I don't feel that way, about, but in general, the most part, most of the Celtics media guys, they just make you feel like this team is the greatest team ever at all times, and they've just been dealt a bad hand, and I just think that's fucking bullshit.
Oh, it's bullshit. Well, and again, I mean, dude, if we were down at the playground, right, and me and you are the captains of the team, one of us is gonna get Tatum, the other is gonna get Brown, and then we're gonna be like, "Fuck, now what?" You know what I mean? Like, do I want this aging ass Kemba or this like guy who can't shoot and smart? You know what I'm saying? And then who's next? Do you want we'd be like, "Oh shit, we got to take that guy," and that's what the roster shit, and that's why I mentioned to you a little while ago. At some point, longevity doesn't mean anything anymore. It just, the Celtics went to 3 out of 4 Eastern Conference championships. Yay. You had 3 All-Stars. You had other All-Stars here too. I'm just this offseason, that's what I'm going to be interested in, Dan. Not so much the Celtics, because they have a lot of work to do. But who are the teams that want to step up, grow balls, and go for it right now? The Raptors did it years ago with Kawhi. Who will Dallas? You got fucking loot. Look what they're doing, right? I'm just saying, is there other teams that are going to be like, you know what? Fuck our future. Let's go for it now for a 2-year run or whatever.
Absolutely not.
Nope.
But
nope.
I think that's the way you have to win.
I absolutely do not agree with you right now.
Well, how
Right
come?
now,
Look at Brooklyn.
Well, because, Brooklyn. Brooklyn has Durant and Kyrie, and they said, "Fuck it, we'll go get Harden too. We'll make a 5-year run." Yeah, Harden's not 35.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. I got you.
So
yeah,
no,
5-year run.
yeah,
I'll go 5-year.
Okay, so you have those guys together for 4 or 5 years, maybe. Well, no, I'm extending my window because, how long is LeBron going to be LeBron? And between that team in the West and the Nets in the East, no, there's no fucking window for me to do that. So, listen, that's a discussion for another day. Discussion for another day. What we can talk about.
All right, let's talk about the Clippers. Should we bet the Clippers tomorrow night, Dan, to win the game?
I'm not. I'm not.
I will PP something in that game, but give me the under 219.5. So I think what the Clippers are going to have to do now is I think they're going to have to play clamp defense, because clearly roaming offense is not working for them, right? Just thinking that you can beat the Mavericks in an all-out sprint to the finish line, 0-2, doesn't work. You have to change game plans now. So if I'm the Clippers, I'm going to say, okay, we're going to take away the perimeter. Luka Doncic, Kristaps Porzingis beat us inside, and they can. They have the size to do it. The Clippers have no size, which has long been one of my knocks on them. And I think that Dallas is in a very good position. I just think we're going to see a totally different type of game. Game 3. It is a defensive game now. The Clippers have to approach this from a completely different angle. And the fact that the series total was 217.5, 218, and now we're seeing a 219.5, I think that's an overreaction to the last game. And I'm gonna take advantage of that right now. So give me the under 219.5.
All right, Dan, I got about 5 more minutes here. Let's knock out Philly, Washington.
Well, why don't we save those for Saturday? We can save those for Saturday.
Yeah, we'll save those for Saturday.
Quickly, I think we should talk about what happened today.
Mass gambling. And again,
it's not good news. Obviously, you probably saw me retweet it. Whatever. But the mass sports betting is budget.
Yeah, let's just, because I know we have our own opinion. Yeah, we can read the article if you want. They rejected the state's amendment for retail online betting to facilities with a sports wagering lounge. So what it means is it got denied to go to a lounge casino. So that's what was rejected today. My buddy Paul Feeney tried to create a tiered licensing system for gaming venues, racetracks, and mobile platforms and offering fantasy sports betting. That got rejected. So to legalize it, I believe, is still on the table, but that's stalled. So they basically just haven't approved it, is what it sounds like.
I mean, it's
Again, Connecticut, by the way, we didn't talk about this, but Connecticut has approved it. They're starting August 1st at Mohegan Sun. Sports betting will be legal in Connecticut. So now you are now surrounded by New Hampshire, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. Three of the 5 states that basically touch you. And those 3 states are all legalized.
Well, did you see what Bruce Tarr? They could bring in 30 to 50 million, and I think he's setting expectations. Like 30 to 50, bro? More.
Yeah. 30 to 50 might be a bad fucking weekend. A bad Memorial Day weekend,
shit,
bro.
No shit. And he goes, Massachusetts lags behind the rest of the nation. He told the Senate at least 21 states have operational sports betting, and 6 more have legalized it with a launch pending. And the legalization of sports betting would allow Bay State to compete for gambling dollars, as you mentioned, Dan, going to all these other bordering states. And so to your point, as you've been saying, it's uncertain whether sports betting could still make it into this year, which is crazy. The Senate's expected to vote on a budget this week. The bill will go to the next stage. We'll find out. And then from there, it's going to go to a committee to get voted. And at that point, your boy Charlie Baker, who included $35 million in the sports betting revenue back in January, so this shit's on the table, and it keeps getting fucking rejected.
I'm telling you, I've told you why. You and I have had off-air discussions. I've told the audience why. Until Baker gets his fucking way, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. It's not happening. And your boy Feeney, I don't know what he thinks. I don't know. That's it. From Charlie Baker's camp, they told me something very specific that he wants. It's very specific. It wasn't just a general outline. It was a very specific. He wants this in order to get the gambling passed. Until he gets it, it ain't fucking getting passed. And I'll tell you, this guy sucks. This is not about politics or anything else. This sucks. This flat out sucks for the state. It sucks for us. It sucks for anyone who wants to make legal wagerings. Just more betting options, which is good. More books equals more outs equals more good things for people. This sucks. Sucks. There's nothing else to it. It sucks.
The quote, and I wish I could tell you who wrote this. To use a sports analogy, Massachusetts is collectively keeping their bat on their shoulder in the competition for additional jobs in the innovation economy, which is sports betting. They're Manny Ramirez at Yankee Stadium taking 3 straight down the middle, Dan. Anyways. Dan, what was your degenerate bet today? Did we ever get one of those?
I don't have one.
No, it's funny. Do you know that because there wasn't one, the outrage today? I'm 15 people asked me, Dan, your face got really red, by the way.
Where?
You're right now. But like, come on, like, I know, Dan. We know why, but like, you can't just like, oh yeah, it's on the table. Oh yeah, we have 40. We've put aside $45.5 million to do this. Fucking prove it then. What are we waiting for? Like seriously, like let's not even make this about politics. Why don't you? Like, is it why? I need a reason why. And don't. And if it's because you want to get something your way, so then you'll pass it, then fucking tell me that. Tell me that, please. Anyways, that's it, Dan. We're gonna get wrangled tonight, or what?
I think there's gonna be a wrangle. I don't think the Sun's gonna be very happy.
Oh man, we got to bring that story back up over the weekend. Hey, I could reach out to my guy. I'll see what happens. I'll see if I can get any more intel on that. Paul Feeney, though, Paul Feely, I grew up with him. Don Bosco's finest. now a part of Foxborough Council. He must be upset today. He's a big guy. He'd be fit right in with us, Dan, in the Bankroll Boys.
That's good. So
Hey, at least he's on our side.
I know.
All right, I gotta go.
All right.
I gotta go. So, anyways, we'll Saturday we got a show. A lot of shit. It's gonna be good. We're gonna have picks galore. We gave out picks tonight, and we'll have a lot of content, and we'll see what drops for that Friday news dump before a holiday weekend. Something always does, Dan. Something always dumps before that holiday weekend. So,
Yep.
All right. Well, we're gonna post this shortly. Again, thank you to everybody, and this has been another edition of the Over Under 985 podcast.
Who you got? Good luck this weekend, guys.